Today I'm going to give you a full Sheep Wars guide here on Hypixel. For those that don't know, Hypixel just released a new game onto the network called Sheep Wars. It is in the Wool Games lobby and I'm going to show you guys everything about it. So I've been playing this game since it came out in the prototype lobby back in April. I have a lot of stats, a lot of experience, and I'm going to show you guys all of my tips and tricks and my full guide for this game. So if you guys are excited, then please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Anyway, let's get into it. Before we hop into the game, I want to show you guys the new kits for this game. If we go over here into the game settings, go into Sheep Wars settings, default kit, we can check out all of the different kits. The builder kit will give you 2 times the blocks. The raider kit will give you an iron sword instead of the default wooden sword. The bowman kit will give you 2 times the arrows. The munitions kit will give you a 20% chance for a +1 sheep on pickup. The tank kit will give you +2 hearts. And finally, the heavy kit will reduce the amount of explosion knockback that you take, however you get slowness 1. Personally, I believe all of these kits are pretty good. I recommend the munitions kit or the tank kit. Both of these are my favorites. And also before you start, I recommend going to the layout editor and make sure that you have your bow and your blocks in your hotbar. When I started, they were in my inventory. I just had to make sure that they were in my hotbar. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be playing a few games. My first game, I'm going to show you guys how the game is played. And then in my next game, I want to show you guys my best tips and tricks. So let's go ahead and get into the game. So when you join, you are in this waiting room. You have your kit selector. Again, I recommend the munitions or the tank. I want to go ahead and go with the munitions kit. And then of course the layout editor as well, but we already checked that out in the main lobby there. So let's go ahead and play the game. So you spawn in with 2 teams, red versus blue, and there's 2 sides. Basically you want to throw your sheep at the other team's island. So you spawn in right here, we have an explosive sheep. I'm gonna go ahead and left click. This will go ahead and throw it directly at where I was aiming. Right click will kind of launch it into the sky, but it'll drop down eventually. And I don't recommend doing that. I recommend left clicking. It'll shoot it right at the person. It'll go right at them. But yeah, I'll show you what right click does. It kind of launches it into the sky and drops down. That's pretty good as well, but not as good as left clicking. Alright, so that was my first game. It didn't go well. It's kind of hard for me to concentrate on the game and explain the game at the same time. So that was it. It's just basically trying to kill the other team, and the last team standing wins. It's just 1 round, best of 1, and that's it. That's Sheep Wars. That was very quick. Let's get into another one. Now I want to show you guys what all of the different sheep do. So the black hole sheep will basically suck everyone towards the sheep, so they won't be able to run away from it. The homing sheep will basically target one specific player and it will go after them and explode on top of them. The high explosive sheep will create a huge explosion, however it takes a few seconds for it to explode. So what players can do, they can actually hit the sheep twice. It'll kill the sheep before it explodes, and the sheep will drop its item so that they can throw it back at the other team. The explosive sheep will basically cause a small explosion right away. Both this one and the homing sheep are the best sheep in my opinion. The onboarding sheep will let you fly over to the other team's island. This doesn't spawn in until later on in the game. The healing sheep is pretty self-explanatory. You want to place this down on your island. This will heal you and your teammates if they're around this sheep. And finally, the earthquake sheep will basically create knockback. It'll throw players away from the sheep and it'll also crumble blocks. There is still a lot more I want to talk about with this game, like power-ups and the magic wool that spawns in the sky. So we're going to play a few games and talk little by little of just the different things that are in this game, and later on, like I said, I'll show you guys my best tips and tricks. So here is the explosive sheep. I believe you get a sheep every 10 seconds, but once somebody on your team dies, you get more and more sheep. It doesn't take as long to get sheep, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it at the other team. Again, the main thing you want to do in this game is throw sheep at the other team, try to kill them, try to knock them off, and basically win the game. As you guys can see right here, here are different sheep that just spawn around the island. Here's another healing sheep, and then as you saw right there, there was a magic wool. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's just keep on playing. So the magic, or this explosive sheep will basically explode on, or as soon as it hits blocks. The homing sheep, as you saw right there, was coming after me, so I had to run away from it. This orange sheep will, once it hits the ground, it'll take a few seconds before it explodes, and then it will cause a huge explosion. And as you saw right there, the player was able to kill that sheep, and so it never exploded, and they actually got that sheep back. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this magic wool, and right there it just gave me +1 black hole sheep. I'll talk about all the different types of magic wools in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this black hole at the other team right here. And so it'll basically suck all the players in. I'm gonna go ahead and throw all my sheep right there now, since all of those players are in that area. I think I killed somebody, maybe 2 people. And so that's a really good strategy, is to throw a black hole somewhere and throw all of your sheep on that black hole, because everyone's sucked in there and they can't leave. And so they just have to get hit by all the sheep that you're throwing at them. So it's a very fast-paced game. That's why it's kind of hard for me to explain everything as I'm playing it, because it's very fast-paced. As you can see right here, this guy has a white sheep in his inventory. That means he has an onboarding sheep, which lets him go and fly over to the other team's island and PvP them, basically, because you cannot bridge across this gap. Alright, so he just flew over here and he is now throwing sheep at the other team. And he won, just like that. So we won the game. I got 2 kills there, and we can see my stats and all the XP that I got. Alright, so hopping into the next game, I want to talk about the power-ups now. There are multiple power-ups that you can pick up across the island here that I will spawn in just randomly, just like how we saw the sheep spawning in. So first one is the bigger explosions power up. This will basically make your team's sheep explosions bigger for 15 seconds. Next is the blindness power up. This will give the opposing team blindness for 5 seconds. Disable enemy bows disables the opposing team's bows for 10 seconds. Explosive arrows lets your team have arrows explode on hit for 15 seconds. Faster sheep speed lets your team's sheep move faster for 10 seconds. Health regeneration will give your team regeneration for 10 seconds. Poison will give the opposing team poison for 3 seconds. Punch bow will give everyone's bows on your team the punch enchantment for 20 seconds. And finally, slower enemy sheep will make the opposing team's sheep move slower for 10 seconds. So now that we know that, let's go ahead and look for power-ups. They spawn in every, I think, like 10 seconds or something like that. You'll find them spawning in around the island just like the sheep do. Here is blindness right here, so now the other team has blindness for 5 seconds. And the healing sheep, like I said earlier, this will basically let your team heal if they're around this. Here is the earthquake sheep. It basically knocks you back. Alright, here's the homing sheep. This is the best sheep in the game. It'll basically target any player that you're looking at. We can see right here, disable enemy bows. So now the other team cannot use bows for 10 seconds. Alright, so now let's talk about the magic wool that spawns up in the sky every 30 seconds. These are also power-ups. So magic wool is a special block of flaming, color-changing wool that spawns in the sky every 30 seconds. Shooting it with a bow will grant a power-up or an extra sheep to your team. However, shooting different colors will grant different effects, and so we're going to talk about each color and what they give. So white will give your team 1 random sheep. Orange will give bigger explosions. Magenta will give +1 random sheep. Light blue will slower the enemy sheep. Yellow and green will give your team +1 random sheep. Pink will give your team health regeneration. Gray will give the other team blindness. Light gray will give you a punch bow. Cyan gives your team faster sheep speed. Purple and brown gives you +1 random sheep. Blue disables the enemy bows. Green gives the other team poison. Red gives your team explosive arrows. And black gives your team +1 random sheep. Alright, so magic wool is the last major thing I want to talk about before I get into my tips and tricks. So let's go ahead and keep our eye on the sky. It will let us know in the chat. It spawns in the sky every 30 seconds, so let's go ahead and look for it before the other team can get it. Alright, there it is, right there. It was black when I shot it, maybe it was pink. I got a healing sheep right there, so I can go ahead and give this to my team, let them heal up a little bit. Alright, so I think you guys get the point for the power-ups and the magic wool and the kits and all that good stuff. So now let's go ahead and get into my best tips and tricks. Again, I have a lot of stats for this game, so I have some pretty good tips. Okay, so the first tip is to find a spot that you want to kind of hide down at. This map is new, so what I like to do is I like to just kind of sit in one spot, kind of hide for a little bit, get a few sheep, and then come out. I definitely don't want to be in an open spot, and I definitely don't want to be around my teammates, because if my teammates are around me, then they know where I'm at, and they're just going to target us if we're all clumped up together. And what I like to do is I like to throw sheep at people if they're near the edge, because I can easily knock them off. If they're near the edge, I will throw and make sure that the sheep will hit the blocks behind the player so that they get launched into the void. And like I said earlier, I like to throw a black hole down and throw down my sheep where the black hole landed, so when the players are all sucked into the black hole, they will get hit by my sheep. And these homing sheep, like I said earlier, are the best sheep in the game. They will go right towards a player, just like that. And I'll go ahead and throw another one. Went right towards that player. Unfortunately, he is hidden, so the homing sheep didn't come after him, just like this one won't hit me. I'll go ahead and throw the sheep behind the player, and there he goes into the void, just like that. And if I'm in a tough spot, I definitely want to shift. I don't want players to know where I'm at. I'm in a tough spot right now, I want to go and come back up. I want to go and spam this guy with my sheep since I have so many of them. I don't know how he's not getting hit by them. So I'm in a bad spot. I need to get height advantage right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back up. Being down low is not great. You want to be really high up. I wouldn't recommend going on rooftops though, because homing sheep can just knock you off. But you just want to be pretty high up. On this map, I don't recommend going up there. There is a magic wall. Go ahead and hit that. It was blue, so I disabled their bows for 10 seconds. And there we go, we won. I got 3 kills there out of 6. Not too bad. So my tips definitely change depending on what map you're playing on. So for this one, again, I'm not going to be down low. I want to get up high. So I'm going to go up here so that I have some height advantage. And I'm just going to save up on some sheep unless I find someone that's near like the edge. I can easily hit him off. If not, I'm just going to save up so that I can spam somebody. This guy right here, he's going to walk on this bridge. 2 of them at once. Oh, I got one. Almost got the other guy. This guy's going to do the same thing. Oh, I wasn't able to knock him off. I like to try to guess where players are going to go. If I see someone running and they're running towards a bridge, that guy just went backwards, so that sheep's worthless. If I see someone going towards a specific area that I can easily knock them off, then I throw my sheep in the area that they're running towards, not where they're at right then, so that I can kind of hit them as they're going. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's a pretty good strat. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my black sheep. I'm going to go ahead and throw my orange. They're going to go after the black. And I got them both. Alright, that was pretty good. Now I got this one guy left. So I saved myself there somehow. Alright, where is he at? I got a homing sheep. I think he's behind this wall. Yes, he is. And he is dead. Alright, that was pretty easy. So really quickly, my tips. I'm just going to go over it really quickly. I recommend when you start, don't go in the open. I recommend going somewhere up high and don't go around any of your teammates. You want to be alone somewhere up high, not on a roof, and you don't want to be near the edge. That is number 1. Don't be near the edge. You want to look around for all the sheep and the different power-ups that are spawning on your island. You want to collect all of them, and you also want to look out for that magic wool in the sky. I recommend saving your black sheep until you have a lot of other sheep as well. So if you find a clump of enemies, I recommend throwing the black sheep towards them. That'll basically suck all of the players towards that black sheep. And then you want to also throw orange sheep at them. That'll basically cause a huge explosion over time. However, they will probably try to kill those sheep, so you want to also throw red sheep at them, which will explode immediately. That'll cause a lot of damage. And homing sheep just cause a lot of chaos with the black sheep. I mean that's just a good strat. Just throw the black sheep at like a clump of enemies, and then just spam all of your other sheep towards that black sheep. It's pretty chaotic when that happens, and it's pretty effective. So that was a lot. I'm sorry if I forgot some things about this game. Again, it's a pretty fast-paced game. It's really hard for me to explain the game and my best tips and tricks when I'm also trying to play a fast-paced game. So I'm sorry if some things were confusing or if some things were just really quick in this video. If you guys have any questions, please join my Discord server down below in the description. I would love to help you guys with Sheep Wars. It's one of my favorite games. Unfortunately, not a lot of people play it, but if you guys enjoyed this video and you guys stayed until the end, then please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below with the word sheep, and I will like it, I will heart it, and I will reply to it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.